Today, our discussion is going to be talking in regards to Freemasonry and the death of Freemasonry. Some of you may be wondering why the death of Freemasonry. I will present this to you. In 1836, there was an anti-Masonic movement. This movement grew only because those who held offices in the in government, local or on a national level, were mostly Freemasons. And because of that, people felt that uh, the fraternal order itself, or Freemasonry itself, or the Society of Freemasonry had too much power. They didn't quite understand Freemasonry, but because at this particular time, there was a gentleman by the name of Morgan Williams or something like that. I think it was Morgan Williams. Well, anyway, he's supposed to have written a book in regards to, or maybe the ritual in regards to Freemasonry. And during this time, he became missing. They said the Masons was behind his murder. And so there was really a backlash taking place because of this, because of the positions that a lot of Masons held at the time. And this was a whole movement. This was a third party. This movement almost killed Freemasonry in the United States. And I can see this happening now. I can see this kind of coming up again. This is why the title of today's subject is the death, hashtag death, hashtag Freemasonry, because I can see this happening again. I can see a lot of us not really taking Freemasonry seriously as far as the Masonic order itself, because most of us who are Masons, and I see a lot of brothers consider Freemasonry to be this social club, this thing I want to go have a great party in. They don't see it as an institution of learned men, those who are seekers of justice, those who are seeker of being enlightenment, of knowledge at all. I don't see that as it once was at one time. This is why, in my own personal belief, those who seek to become Masons, especially African Americans, the reason you were denied membership into the craft is because it was for enlightened people. I hear people talk about, the craft of stone masons and all of that. Look, that whole thing with the stone masons and all of that stuff, that sounds pretty. But when you look at Freemasonry, which derived out of the Egyptian culture, or let's say the African diaspora culture, and the signs and symbols that was used to communicate a language. When you look at that, and then you look at how Freemasonry came through France and was introduced to what we call now the European nations and the Anglo-Saxons, when you look at that, how it began to travel and filter, it is not that same type of Freemasonry anymore. It is not. When I personally see Masonry now, as we journey through it, it is supposed to have this higher standard of learned men, those who are seekers of knowledge and being enlightened. And it's not that anymore. It has totally been flipped. Okay, it has totally been flipped. And so Freemasonry has opened its doors and shown to the world its process of elections, its process of installing officers. The doors of Freemasonry is open. All you got to do is go to YouTube, the various channels, and you can see all of this. The only thing that is still sacred is the relationships of individuals within Freemasonry. Hear me again, I'm going to say this. The only thing that is sacred in Freemasonry now is the relationships that is built within the core essence of Masonry, because all of the grips, the signs, and all of that stuff, you can go by rituals. It's publicly available to you. The sincere essence of the society is only held to a standard amongst those individuals who hold that obligation to their hearts. This is why, in order to sincerely see Freemasonry for what it is, it has to be in your heart. And if it's not there, you will not clearly grasp the language, the knowledge for which Masons or Masonry can share with you. You're not going to get that. And when I sit back and I watch brothers of the craft go edit online in the various different social groups that are online, and I watch how they treat each other, even on TikTok, it amazes me. And I would say this even for myself, and my participation in some of that mess is definitely unbecoming the true essence of Freemasonry. Greetings, Grandmaster Larry Diamond. So those of us who practice this thing, those of us who believe in the principle of Freemasonry that binds one man to the next man, and that's what it does. When I look at Freemasonry, it asks me, or it may say, as many and brothers and fellows have done this, it binds me, it brings me into this uniqueness of a brotherhood in its essence across the entire world. Masonry is universal, and how can it be universal if we're not practicing the same tenets that we profess that we do? How can it be universal if we don't, the grips and the signs are not the same wherever you go? The only thing that is different within Freemasonry are your constitutions and your bylaws. Those things change. The thing that doesn't change in Freemasonry are the grips, the words, and the signs. They may be pronounced a little differently, they may be gestured a little differently, but they never ever change. And those who practice the craft, I mean really practice the craft and understanding the language of Freemasonry, know this. Those landmarks that you claim, those 24, 25, everybody doesn't practice those landmarks as you may. You know, you may go get yourself a Mack's jurisprudence and you read through it and you think that those landmarks are the standards for which every Grand Lodge abides by, and that's a big no. Every Grand Lodge does not abide by those same landmarks. Every Grand Lodge has a set of landmarks, maybe one or two that they would take and they would abide by according to their own sovereignty, you know, according to their own sovereignty. And this is what you're going to get. So we must be able to take a real serious look at Freemasonry, because it's going to die out from the way it is now. Hear this. Freemasonry in the way it is now is going to die out because of the principles that it holds. And you may be like, well, how do you see that? How do you see Freemasonry dying out? Because everyone is not going to be able to stand the pressure of being a Mason. Just like it was in 1836 in the anti-masonic movement here in the United States. A lot of people quit Freemasonry. They denounced it because they couldn't stand the pressure that came with being a Mason. And the way it looks right now, it's going to come back. That pressure is going to come back, and a lot of us, because of who we are, where we're at in life, are going to say, nah, man, I'm done. I can't do it. And that's the true essence of Freemasonry. That is going to be the true essence of what it's all about. You know? This is what I want to. Okay. Peace to my brothers. You can let that show, moderator, If he's saying peace to my brothers, that's okay to show. I'm okay with that. 5141, you know, that's okay. That's okay to show. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, so when we begin to take that look into Freemasonry and what it's supposed to be all about, and begin to compare those who now hold office. There's a lot of Masons in a variety of positions around the world who hold very powerful positions. But you can't lump everybody in with that and try to destroy this sacred organization. Yeah, I said sacred. I did. Because there's a lot of great men who have come through the doors of Freemasonry and done a lot of great things in regards to humanity. So Masonry has played a part in that. And to try and shut down such a awesome organization is going to be crazy. But I can actually see another anti-masonic movement happening. I can actually see that. Not long ago, over in I can't think of where it was at, but it was overseas. They bombed the Masonic building over there. It was bombed. And just here recently, a young man out of Texas was killed after his lodge meeting. So there are things that are happening. Please be aware of that. There are things you should definitely keep an eye on. I know many of us have the emblems on the back of our cars. I know many of us like to wear caps and shirts and all sorts of things. And yeah, that's all great and gravy until you begin to be attacked for wearing such regalia. So all I'm saying is, brothers of the craft, please be careful. And to the sisters of the Order of the Eastern Star, let's not forget, you're going to have to be careful too. Everybody is not happy when you say that you're a Mason. Everybody is not joyous when you claim to be an Eastern Star. And that is only saying to be a Mason is one to be enlightened. To be an Eastern Star is one to bring forth light. You catch that on the way home. So when you see this great organization, I don't care what color you are and what Grand Lodge you're in, but when you are a seeker of justice and truth in the principle for which this organization stands on, it's a marvelous thing. It's truly a marvelous thing. And all I'm asking those who come on this page and flip through it and may say some great things and some bad things, think for a moment of the greatness of those who have passed through the doors of Freemasonry. Think for a moment of how those who wanted to come through the doors of Freemasonry, but the door was closed because they look like me. Think for a moment of those who had great ideas, and because you, my brother, felt they was too young and they're in your lodge, you closed the door. Think for a moment those elders who sit in the lodge had great ideas, and because the youth came in full of enthusiasm, closed them out. Masonry is a place for an old man to be around young men, for a young man to be around older men, so you can get the maturity and understanding of life adventures, youth, manhood, and age. And what better person, a Freemason who has been around until his 80s, to teach you the life lessons that he himself has experienced and passed those down. Who's better? This is the lifeblood of Freemasonry. This is how Masonry is going to be able to be passed down to the next man. It may not be through a book. It may not be through a book. It may be chest to chest, cheek to cheek, knee to knee, foot to foot. It may be on those 5 points of fellowship that you may be able to receive that which is lost. And there's nothing wrong with it. But what we have done is we've made Masons. We who are Freemasons have made it such a glorified social club till you have missed the true essence of the enlightenment that one is supposed to receive when he becomes a Freemason. Yeah, you missed that. We have not done right by our young men who have knocked on the doors of Freemasonry. Not all of us, I'm not going to say all of us, but no, quite a few of us have not done right by them. But what we have done is we've left them in the dark. We've not enlightened them on the essence of Freemasonry. Remove the bickering out of it and realizing that you who practice this thing we call Freemasonry is special. You are special to be accepted into the Masonic Lodge. You are. You know, and you may say, well, why would you say he's special? Because apparently to be vouched for, apparently to go through the process and knowing that this is in your heart. And as many and brothers and fellows have done this, to knock on the door to essentially say, hey, this thing called Freemasonry is in my heart. And next, I'm being prepared to come from darkness into light. And you may be asking yourself, well, what is this thing being transparent, or what is this thing being translated to mean as far as being brought from darkness into light? It is a light unknowns to you. It is a process that you go through, a ritualistic process you go through to enlighten you through about a process that you know little about. Masonry is truly a great system and a process that, if taken seriously and applied to your life journey, can actually enhance you along this journey, because it has a language unto itself. It has a beat unto itself. It has a movement unto itself. Masonry in itself alone can build societies. And that's the truth. Masonry can build society, but for those of us who get elected into these positions, be it a Grand Master or Worshipful Master, Junior Ward, Senior Ward, what we have done is we have collectively almost squares the life out of Freemasonry because of small bickering, because of something that somebody else has said. But if you would just, for a moment, allow yourself just to be and practice those true essence of Freemasonry, man, you yourself would be amazed. You yourself would be amazed. You yourself would be amazed. And that is something that we're going to have to do. You're going to have to do that. Greetings to you, Brother Tony. How you doing, man? I hope those of you who are watching at this time, I hope that you're well in your day, that your journey is pleasant. Things are tight, man. People are losing homes, jobs, families. People are dying. There's a lot happening. And it is my hope, and it is my prayers that in this journey, on this journey, that you yourself will be able to enlighten and help those along the way. No man gets anywhere by himself. And trust me, when people say, I did it by myself, you didn't do it by yourself. There was someone that opened the door for you. There was someone that said, follow your guide and fear no danger. And if you look at the Masonic rituals from long ago, it says, follow your God and fear no danger. That senior deacon, that deacon was a representation of someone who was guiding you through the darkness in the valley unto the mountaintop where you can let your light shine. But so many of us have missed the true essence of the ritualistic works of Freemasonry and only participated in the social ventures, your barbecues, your fundraisers. You've missed the true essence of Masonry. Masonry was meant for those who came through the door and who wanted to be enlightened. And in the process of being enlightened, that they themselves then would let that light shine. And when that light shines within them, that others may see that they are just more than just a mere man who's walking the streets. That they was more than that. And this is why a lot of us joined Freemason, because they seen a man, or they was around certain men who carried themselves a certain way, and then later on you found that person to be a Mason. And this is because of those principles that he stood on. He stood on a set of principles that was a strong foundation. And in the process of standing on those very principles, you looked at him and said, man, I'd like to be part of that. And then once you became a Freemason, you found out that a lot of stuff was just BS, all the back and forth and the bickering. You found that to be unnecessary. And this is why a lot of people are leaving Freemasonry and not staying, because of the bickering of the various Masonic grand lodges and organizations. You're going back and forth, and that is un-Masonic in its essence. And that goes for me too. You know, that goes for me too. One who has been in this organization now 36 years this month. 36 years this month. I'm one who's supposed to be able to find a balance, you know, be able to take my rough ashlar and my working tools and make that ashlar smooth to fit in that northeast corner of the lodge. I'm that person. Or you may be that person also who's able to take those working tools and apply them to your daily journey in life, so that those who see you, those who may come beside you, can see that you are the example of how a Mason should be. I'm not saying that you're perfect. I'm just saying that you should be able to be that person. You know, be that example. And trust me, there's a lot of great examples of individuals who are Masons. There's a lot of great examples. I don't care if they're white, Filipino, Mexican, Asian. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of great examples of brothers around the world who are great examples of Freemasonry and standing on that strong foundation and principle. We can't sit idly by, because when you sit idly by and you watch an organization such as Freemasonry begin to crumble, because those who practice those principles are beginning to fade away, and those behind us don't understand what's been left to their care, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So today, my brothers and to my sisters, please understand the essence of Freemasonry. And the Order of the Eastern Star stands on a strong principle: youth, manhood, and age, teaching each one of us a valuable lesson that we're going to go through the valley of the shadow of death. We're going to go through it. But when you're going through it, you must follow your guide, your God, and fear no danger. For thy wrath, for the rod and the staff, they comfort me, right? Is that what the scripture says? So you must take that anchor, which is one of the emblems of a Freemasonry. Throw it overboard, so when the storm comes and your ship is being tossed, it can become stable and anchored. That's what you must do with that. That's what you must do with that. And then when you take that look up and you see that bright morning star in the east, realizing that your sisters of the Order of the Eastern Star are supporting and guiding you through the currents that may be in your life. See, there's a lot more to this thing than meets the eye, but most of us don't want to talk about it. Most of us, what we want to do is just sit idly by and just allow something so great just to falter. So look, I have to go. I hope that you gotten some out of this message today. And on your travels, please stay out the bushes and keep your light on. Oh yeah. And whatever you do, man, remember your brothers and your sisters in your prayers. I'm out. Peace and be well.